Welcome back, viewers. Hello, you're watching Race to Power. This is an all-new affair right here on WION The World is One. I'm Shivan Chandna.
And I'm Eric Njoka. In the next 1 hour, we go beyond the headlines and rhetoric to bring you stories that are shaping governments, influencing policies and redefining power. Just ahead on the show today, we start off from West Asia. Shivan?
Well, that's exactly right. The chess game over the governance of the Strait of Hormuz continues to rattle both President Trump and Iran. Looks like Iran will not budge to any threats coming in from Washington. Instead, they are courting Oman to strengthen their bargaining charm. We'll bring you the full details.
And not too far off in Pakistan, Shehbaz Sharif's government is facing a serious charge from his own interior minister, Mohsin Naqvi, who claims to have unearthed a scam of massive proportions.
Also on the show, from India, Tamil Nadu's opposition leader Udaynidhi Stalin's alleged derogatory remark against actor Trisha sparks a row and led to his arrest as well. A lot of drama that took place in Tamil Nadu. More details of that drama coming up later on the show. Let's start right off.
Indeed, let's begin from West Asia. And President Trump is going in circles over the Iran war and long drawn-out talks. Same pattern, repeats time again. He issues a threat, holds back attack at the request of either Pakistan or one of the Gulf countries, fails to break the deadlock during the talks, and the loop continues.
Well, Trump has issued threats and ultimatums time and again at regular intervals since the war began on the 28th of February. But he has so far failed to force Iran into a deal of his choice. This time, Iran seems to have simply refused to participate in this game, contradicting to what US President claims. Iran says no talks are underway between both sides.
Well, instead, Iran is talking with Oman to determine the administrative framework for the Strait of Hormuz. Both nations are reportedly considering a temporary plan to control the contested maritime choke point. Under the proposal, Iran will control the inbound shipping and maintain visibility of the outbound Hormuz traffic with ability to intervene if necessary.
And Oman will control the outbound shipping, but it will have to notify Iran about each ship. Outbound Hormuz shipping lane will follow a route between Iran and Oman.
Senior advisor to Iran's Supreme Leader Mohsen Rezai has said that Iran will not accept any other route than what is defined. He also threatened that Iran will strike US warships if they venture to pass through the Strait of Hormuz.
We will by no means allow the second corridor in the Strait of Hormuz. We won't allow the second corridor to open. Even if they deploy warships, we will target them.
Now, the move completely sidelines the United States, and this is an important diplomatic maneuver as Donald Trump has repeatedly claimed that the Strait of Hormuz is under US control. Listen to this.
We're the one that has we have total control. You know, we have a thing called a blockade with his Navy, and that Navy is, they call it a wall of steel, the United States wall of steel. And no, there's not going to be charging. We're not talking about charging at all. There won't be charging.
Predictability. US President Donald Trump vented out his frustration via a post on True Social. He called Iran's leadership duplicitous. He claimed Iran asks for a meeting behind the scenes while openly denying discussions with the United States.
And while calling off the planned attack over the weekend, Donald Trump claimed that it was Iran and other West Asian countries that asked him to hold off the attack. He laid out two demands: opening of the Hormuz Strait, which he claims is already under US control, and call an end to what he called Iran's nuclear threat.
Well, President Donald Trump's habit of issuing threats and ultimatums has not resulted in any real progress in achieving the deal. We are able to recall 29 threats Donald Trump has issued since the war began. The latest one is last chance before decapitation. Earlier he said Iran will no longer exist if US decides to escalate.
Then on the 7th of April, he threatened to end Iran's civilization at the end of his 48-hour ultimatum. He also threatened to bomb Iran to the Stone Age. Now, each time, Iran refused to succumb under pressure. People on the streets of Tehran also recognize this pattern and call it Trump's usual tactic to buy more time.
I am pessimistic because it is not even his first time. It is not his second or third time either. He has repeated the same pattern before. It will once again buy time with the issue of negotiations before he decides to launch attacks again. There are other things he has done before that he may want to do again.
Well, it's hard to determine the state of negotiations. Now, U.S. Treasury Secretary has said that an agreement will be reached on Hormuz by Wednesday, but attacks continue in the Persian Gulf.
Well, in the latest dry bulk ship, which was reportedly hit by a projectile near the Strait of Hormuz, and on the other hand, Yemen's Houthi rebels claimed to have hit at Saudi Arabia's Najran airport.
The exchange of fire comes amid regional efforts to bring U.S. and Iran to a negotiating table. According to Qatar's foreign ministry, efforts are underway with all parties for a diplomatic solution. Pakistan Foreign Minister Ishaq Dar requested his Iranian counterpart Abbas Araghchi to visit Islamabad at his earliest convenience. Even if both sides return to the negotiating table, they will be faced with the same deadlock.
Well, red lines drawn by Washington and Tehran remain unchanged all these months later as well, and all these decades later perhaps. But any possible deal would require concessions, which no side seems to be ready to make, at least not as of now. The question is, which side hurts more with the delay?
Dr. Reza Khanzadeh is an adjunct professor in political science for West Asia and Islamic studies at George Mason University. He is now joining us live on the broadcast from Washington, D.C. Dr. Reza, thank you very much for your time. Very quickly, do you think Iran heading to Oman will do them justice?
Yeah, well, thanks for having me on your program again. Good to be with you. I do think this is going to pay dividends for the Islamic Republic, much to the dislike of Trump and Washington and probably most of the global South and Asia, because it seems that fees will be a part of the transit system through the Strait, and Iran and Oman will come to some type of agreement, because Iran now has, rightfully identified that there is very little Trump can do to stop Iran from putting fees on the Strait of Hormuz. And the only other party that really has a high stakes in that type of, negotiation is Oman. So that's why Iran is sidestepping Trump and Washington, D.C. and going straight to Oman to reach a deal. And frankly, I think this is going to be a silver lining for Trump as well, because it's been over 6 months with this conflict, and Trump has been, desperately trying to find a way to find an off-ramp to leave this conflict. And this might be his chance to just, wash his hands of this and, say that this is over. And he might make a lot of comments, and just like your program has showed, over 29 times he's made these bombastic remarks and outlandish, comments. And then there's a reason why people call him Taco now. Trump always chickens out. So we don't want to base too much of what he says. And again, he's a businessman. He's a charlatan. He's not a diplomat. He's not a politician. He doesn't understand really anything of what's going on inside that region within West Asia. So that's why it's on Iran and Oman to come to an agreement, which I think they will in the short term for sure.
Dr. Khanzadeh, and one understands that the Strait of Hormuz remains, it's a geographical advantage for Iran, and that's one area, that critical waterway, Iran has made it clear time and again, it will not go back to pre-war levels. But the number of unarmed civilian vessels which have come under attack, and those have included Indian seafarers as well, time and again, these have come in from the Iranian side. Do you feel that kind of force is the banner in which Iran wants to maintain control over the Strait of Hormuz?
No, actually, I don't think that is the force that they want to, project. But at the same time, Iran has reached. So we have to understand the psychology of this regime And this goes back all the way until the 50s, the 1950s, and the way the CIA from America and MI6 from England ousted a democratically elected prime minister from Iran. So this level of PTSD and trauma that this regime has continues on with them, regardless of what century we're in or what year we're in. There's this level of trauma with this regime that they cannot shake, that they cannot detach themselves from, and that lingers on with them even when it comes to their foreign policy strategy, so to speak. And that's what we're seeing with these strikes, because their psychology, this regime's psychology, is that if we suffer, if we're being bombed, if we're being sanctioned, if we can't export oil, then everyone is going to suffer the way we are, because we've been suffering for 40 plus years. So we can't be the only ones who are suffering. So now everyone needs to feel, and we are seeing that now, because we saw Trump state how many of the Gulf countries have reached out to him saying, do not escalate this conflict. And the reason why they're saying that is because Iran has been bombing them. Mm-hmm. So Iran is seeing that we don't want to bomb people, but it is showing signs that it's to our benefit to have this type of chaos, because then those countries will reach out to America and probably Europe in the foreseeable future to tell them, let's ease up on Iran, let's let them export oil, so that way no one suffers from this conflict.
Okay, this is an ongoing situation. Dr. Khanzadeh, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you very much for your time and for talking to us today.
Thanks again.
All right, moving further, the status of talks with Iran has impacted Donald Trump's popularity as well. But that is not the only thing which has come under the spotlight as far as the upcoming midterm elections are concerned.
For the Republican Party, another issue concerning their Ohio lawmaker is making headlines, which has the U.S. president worried. Republican lawmaker Max Miller has been facing growing calls to abandon his re-election bid. The pressure follows allegations of domestic abuse by Miller towards his ex-wife and daughter. The House representative from Ohio has dismissed all the accusations by his former partner.
However, the issue escalated further when Republican Senator Bernie Moreno, who is Miller's ex-father-in-law, slammed his once son-in-law of exhibiting dangerous behavior. Moreno said, this is what he said, that Miller's statement on his ex-wife having mental health issues and his overall erratic behavior is what prompted him to speak now.
Till Sunday, even the U.S. president had dismissed it as a private matter, shouldered on accusations. But the increased scrutiny has Trump seemingly worried. According to an Axios report, President Trump and Miller had a phone call on Monday in which the U.S. president signaled his worry of the congressman's candidacy for midterms. Trump reportedly told Miller that his candidacy is, quote, in trouble, but stopped short of asking him directly to abandon his re-election bid.
Well, the Ohio lawmaker, on his part, told Trump that he will not abandon the race despite the abuse allegations against him. The U.S. president and the Republican Party overall have a close contest to fight in the November midterms, less than 3 months away. Presently, Republicans have a narrow majority in both congressional chambers, giving them strategic advantage over policy passage and key decisions.
However, the Red Camp has an edge of just 3 seats in the House of Representatives, as 4 seats are vacant. The Democrats are looking to flip these seats, including Ohio, which remains shrouded in controversy because of Miller. Across U.S. primaries are underway for both Democrats and Republicans to select their respective congressional candidates who will be fighting the ultimate election battle in November.
As we speak, the day has dawned for the primaries in the state of Michigan. Polls open at 7 a.m. and close at 8 p.m. local time. The biggest contest to watch out for is of Democrat candidates Abdul El-Sayed and Haley Stevens. The battle unfolds between the 2 candidates of the same camp with differing views on Israel and U.S. funding to its closest ally.
While El-Sayed is a progressive who stands against U.S. military aid to Israel, Stevens is a moderate Democrat backed by pro-Israel groups. The result of this primary will also shed light on how Democratic voters view American policies on Israel.
All right, there's more on this from our correspondent Susan Tehrani, who sends us this report from New York. Over to you, Susan.
As the 2026 midterm season kicks into high gear, President Trump is facing an early political test: how to handle vulnerable Republican candidates. According to Axios, Trump privately warned Ohio Congressman Max Miller that his re-election bid could be in jeopardy, even as the party weighs its options ahead of key ballot deadlines. The spotlight comes on a day when voters head to the polls in the state of Michigan, where closely watched primary contests for governor, the U.S. Senate, and several House seats are expected to offer an early read on voters' sentiments in one of the nation's most important battleground states. Susan Tehrani reporting from New York for WION World is One.
From New York, let's talk about a story that has been generating interest. Pakistan's army sits on top of the country's power structure. Under the cloak of democracy, army chief is the one who calls the shots. Locally, they call it a hybrid regime where parties in power may change, but army remains the kingmaker.
That's absolutely right. And this makes military patronage a must-have for political survival in Islamabad. The same pattern appears to be repeating once again. Shehbaz Sharif's government is facing a serious charge from his own Interior Minister, Mohsin Naqvi, who claims to have unearthed a scam of massive proportions. He says Pakistan's system of governance has completely collapsed and is no longer capable of addressing political and economic challenges.
इतना बड़ा स्कैम मैंने नहीं ख्याल पाकिस्तान की हिस्ट्री में होगा जिसमें
I don't think there has ever been such a massive scam in the history of Pakistan, where judges, bureaucrats, politicians and bankers were all involved. For 21 years, bribes were paid and people kept taking it. We will go after each and every person responsible.
The pitch for political reset coming from Mohsin Naqvi is a worrying sign for Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif. Naqvi is close to Pakistan's military establishment and enjoys strong military patronage that stems directly from Asim Munir.
Just a year after Asim Munir's appointment as Army Chief, Mohsin Naqvi was made caretaker Chief Minister of Punjab. While holding that position, he was appointed as the chairman of the Pakistan Cricket Board. And in just few years, he transitioned from a media mogul to the Interior Minister of Pakistan.
He is often touted as a central bridge between the civilian setup and the military establishment. Naqvi, openly alleging corruption and mismanagement, has raised speculations on Shehbaz Sharif's future as Prime Minister of the country.
And silence from within the government makes it apparent. Rana Sanaullah, Special Assistant to the Prime Minister on Political Affairs, has openly said that Nawaz Sharif has instructed everyone not to respond to Mohsin Naqvi.
Meanwhile, the key alliance partner is openly threatening to pull out the support. Pakistan People's Party is keeping the Shehbaz Sharif government afloat, but the alliance seems to be approaching a breaking point.
PPP chairman Bilawal Bhutto Zardari has issued a warning. He said that the countdown has begun for PMLN, alleging fraud in the elections. Bilawal Bhutto vowed to lead a people's rights movement across Pakistan.
According to People's Party leader Sharmila Faruqi, that is Sharmila Faruqi, alliance with PMLN is very challenging after they openly rigged POK elections. Referring to Mohsin Naqvi, she said, "Your most powerful leader is telling everyone that the system has failed." Pakistan has a long history of prime ministers not being able to complete their full 5-year term, with Imran Khan serving as the latest example. The question remains, is Munir already laying groundwork for Shehbaz Sharif's ouster using Pakistan People's Party and close aide Naqvi?
Two long-drawn wars in different parts of the world have one thing in common. They have given rise to prominent figures who are now challenging the top leadership's status quo, directly or indirectly.
The story today is about Ukraine's challenger who has questioned the very thing Zelensky has been fighting the war with, Russia, for NATO accession. Ukraine's ambassador to the UK and former commander-in-chief Valery Zaluzhny has dismissed the country's NATO ambitions in a single remark. While speaking to other Ukrainian ambassadors, Zaluzhny said Ukraine will never join NATO due to the bloc's data standards, which Kyiv will not be able to meet.
Well, the former military chief further said, and I quote here, "It is impossible for the Ukrainian armed forces, given their current level of development, to join an organization that is guided by World War II doctrines." The statement comes in stark contrast to the singular goal that Ukraine has been defending 4 years after Russia's invasion. In fact, Ukraine's constitution identifies NATO membership as a strategic objective.
A poll conducted in July this year shows a close runoff if elections were to be held today. In the first round of polls, the survey positions Zelensky's popularity at 32%, while Zaluzhny has 16% vote share. However, in the second round, the survey puts Zelensky at a narrow lead with 42% votes, while the former military chief stands at 39%, just 3% behind the incumbent. Not a very stable lead if the polls are any indication of popularity.
Now, as far as NATO is concerned, the military alliance visited Kiev in February this year for a meeting with Ukraine's president. However, little movement has been made on NATO's membership action plan ever since the process first began in 2008, after Ukraine first aspired to become a member.
For now, there is no clarity on when elections will be held in Ukraine, since the constitution has a provision to postpone the polls indefinitely during wartime. But when elections do unfold, Zelensky will face several challenges which might benefit his rivals.
But this phenomenon is not unique to Ukraine. Another country involved in NATO but multiple wars is seeing a similar political landscape, and that is Israel.
The multiple war fronts, stalemate in talks, and domestic issues all compound the issues that Benjamin Netanyahu faces. Amid his unstable popularity and a weak coalition government, Israel's former army chief Gadi Eisenkot has emerged as a key rival to Netanyahu. Ever since Eisenkot launched his prime ministerial bid, polls pitch a tight contest between him and Bibi. For Israel, elections are due to be held by October this year, and its result may just set a trend for Ukraine as well.
West African nations are rapidly tightening restrictions against the queer community. Senegal, Niger, and Ghana are leading a regional escalation in penal codes.
While governments have defended these measures as a defense of local tradition, international human rights advocates have warned of shrinking civic freedoms, and severe humanitarian activists say politicians regard LGBTQ+ people as the easiest scapegoats to maintain their power.
Well, in the latest, the Parliament of Ghana plans to reconsider and possibly even add harsher punishments to the anti-LGBTQ bill that it passed on May 29th. The Speaker of Parliament has said that the prison sentences specified in 3 sections of the bill need to be changed, but did not provide any details.
Well, the latest version of the bill calls for 3 years of prison for anyone who identifies as gay. It would allow LGBTQ+ people to avoid prison if they submit to counseling to try to change their sexual orientation or gender identity. The bill would also impose for a 3 years prison term for people participating in gender reassignment surgery, entering into same-sex marriage, or even attending same-sex weddings.
Well, the bill also introduces a duty to report prohibited acts to the police. In March, Senegal doubled the maximum prison sentence for gay sex to 10 years and criminalized the promotion of homosexuality. Niger criminalized sexual relations with a person of the same sex. In February, the first time same-sex intimacy had been outlawed in the country.
Mali and Burkina Faso, which neighbors Niger, also criminalized same-sex relations for the first time in the last 2 years. All 3 are ruled by military juntas. Across West Africa, LGBTQ+ people are suffering the consequences of the new and harsher laws. They have been facing deepening insecurity and barriers to essential services.
Now, according to experts in Senegal, the law is also hindering HIV prevention for men who have sex with men and transgender women who have higher rates of HIV prevalence, as well as lawyers representing LGBTQ+ people. The crackdown in Senegal has also increased homophobia in the Gambia region. According to authorities, about 100 Senegalese people fled to the Gambia this year, although most had to return to Senegal as they had no money. Same-sex relations are already punishable with up to life in prison in the Gambia, while transgender women are criminalized by a cross-dressing ban.
You are watching Race to Power on WION The World is One with Shivan Chanana and myself, Eric Njoka. Time now for a short break, but coming up, Maharashtra's doctors are on strike over a state policy. We'll bring you all the details.
The stress of our world can take a toll on our physical and emotional health. Here, in New York's Catskill Mountains, lies a luxurious place of healing called WION Wellness Center. The WION Wellness Center provides 500,000 square feet of natural methods to manage diabetes, hypertension, chronic pain, obesity, depression, anxiety, and other conditions. We use the traditions of centuries-old natural science from India, yoga, Ayurveda, acupuncture, and naturopathy in personalized programs that help you take charge of your own health. A minimum 5-day stay is recommended for best results. Book now at yo1.com.
In this rapidly changing world, is your health keeping pace? Best practices and breakthroughs busting the hype with real insights. The timeless power of yoga and ancient healing. Good food, good mood. Small steps, big impact. Your health matters. Only on WION World is One. Because nothing matters more.
WION, India's global voice, the channel that brings you the biggest stories from across the world through India's lens. Now available in more than 190 countries worldwide. Because we believe that the world is one. Watch us in Africa, Europe, USA and Canada, South America, Asia Pacific, Middle East and North African regions. Also available on these digital platforms across the world. WION. World is One.
In-depth coverage of global issues broken down into facts, figures, and simple words. Backed with analysis from field experts who truly matter. Because we believe in decoding the real picture for you. So you get a much wider and deeper understanding of stories from around the world. A 360-degree analysis. An award-winning documentary series, week after week creating the maximum impact. Watch WION Wide Angle at these times on WION. World is One.
From the bustling trading floors of Wall Street to the vibrant exchanges of Asian stock markets, WION breaks it down for you to make sense of what's happening. As we reveal the key factors behind events, strategic battles, and the game-changing business decisions that shape the world. We bring you all of this and more on World Business Watch.
The Israeli drone is above our heads all the time in Lebanon. More than 200,000 civilian homes have been destroyed. This looks like it used to be a toy for a little girl. Can't but wonder while I'm walking between all of this rubble, how many lives were destroyed, how many kids were traumatized, how many women lost their families. If this isn't a war crime, then what is? From the southern suburb of Beirut, I'm Redi Francis for WION. World is One.
Thank you for staying with us and welcome back to Race to Power on WION World is One. On to the second segment now, where we decode top stories from India.
The political slugfest between the ruling TVK and the opposition DMK in Tamil Nadu has hit a new low.
Dramatic scenes unfolded in Chennai today as the TVK government upped the ante against leader of opposition Udaynidhi Stalin over his alleged derogatory remarks on actor Trisha. A high-voltage political drama played out in the afternoon as the police arrested Udaynidhi Stalin from his residence. The arrest followed an FIR against Needy over the alleged derogatory remarks.
But 9 charges, including insulting a woman's modesty, were invoked against the DMK leader. Additionally, Section 4 of the Tamil Nadu Prohibition of Harassment of Women Act and Section 67 of the IT Act, they were also invoked against Udaynidhi Stalin.
Just moments ago, the opposition leader has been released from police custody. These are the visuals of his release after hours of questioning by the Tamil Nadu police.
Those are visuals from Thanjavur. Now, the developments came a day after a controversy erupted during DMK's protest in Thanjavur. During his speech, Udaynidhi Stalin was interrupted by chants of Trisha as he criticized the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, Vijay. As the chants continued, Udaynidhi paused and made a remark which has been widely interpreted as inappropriate, misogynistic and a double-meaning reference to the actor Trisha.
DMK President and former Chief Minister M.K. Stalin has come out in Udaynidhi's support. In a statement, Stalin termed Udaynidhi's arrest as TVK's bid to deflect attention from the ongoing Kaveri water dispute with Karnataka. Stalin accused Vijay's government of attempting to intimidate Udaynidhi by filing various charges against him.
Earlier, as Udaynidhi Stalin was being taken to Thanjavur, where he made the controversial remark, the DMK party cadre attempted to offer him food but were not allowed by the police, leading to tense exchanges between the two.
The TVK has also written to the National Commission for Women seeking action against Udaynidhi, calling the remarks deeply troubling. The TVK said the language normalizes the objectification and verbal harassment of women in public spaces.
As politics over the issue intensifies, the DMK has shared an image on social media showing a young M.K. Stalin and former Chief Minister Karunanidhi getting arrested by the police in the past. The image carried the caption, "Justice will prevail over injustice."
The high-profile arrest is reminiscent of political battles in the past when political vendetta led to similar police action. Back in June 2001, police had forcibly entered former Chief Minister M. Karunanidhi's residence in Chennai, physically pulling and lifting the 78-year-old amidst high political tension and live TV broadcasts.
However, the current episode marks another chapter in the growing public rivalry between the TVK and the DMK. Since the start of Vijay's term as Chief Minister in Tamil Nadu, the two parties have routinely clashed over a range of issues, from alleged bribing of legislators to the ongoing Kaveri water sharing row and the Mekedatu dam dispute as well.
Over the past couple of weeks, the DMK has increasingly cornered Vijay over the Kaveri water dispute, from accusing him of betraying the state's farmers to not doing enough to safeguard the state's interests. The criticism was turning increasingly personal, but with Udaynidhi dragging actor Trisha into the debate, the political battle seems to have crossed another red line.
Well, Udaynidhi's comments have reignited questions over the tone of Tamil Nadu's political discourse, where personal attacks are increasingly overshadowing public issues. The bigger challenge for political leaders is not just winning the narrative, but ensuring that political rivalry does not descend into an ugly battle at the cost of basic decency. All right, we're now going to be joined by R.K. Upadhyay, senior journalist, joining us on the broadcast from Bengaluru. Mr. Upadhyay, always a pleasure. Thanks so much for making time. Looking at what we're seeing all those visuals coming in from Tamil Nadu. We're heading into the budget session in the Legislative Assembly. It's going to be explosive given what's transpired over the last 24 plus hours. Over to you.
Well, it's most unfortunate, the developments that are taking place in Tamil Nadu. As we've seen, the temperatures have been rising ever since TVK, led by Vijay, came to power in May this year. DMK has not taken it well, that they lost the battle against TVK, having been in power for almost 10 years, and they were defeated. It was a surprise defeat for the DMK because they did not expect TVK, which is just about 4 months old party, to make such a massive impression in the elections and win 108 seats and just short of majority, and they were able to cobble together a government. And ever since Vijay came to power and became the chief minister, the relations between TVK cadres and the DMK cadres have been going downhill. And what happened yesterday at a public meeting is really deplorable, because I think Udayanidhi, Stalin being the leader of the opposition and also the chief minister's son should have been more responsible in a public gathering. I mean, instead of making such misogynic comments against a film actress who's supposedly close to Vijay, and creating this ruckus now, which is happening in Tamil Nadu. It's a most unfortunate situation, and hopefully, sanity will prevail on both sides, because the assembly session is very, very important tomorrow for Tamil Nadu, because they are going to discuss the Kaveri water issue. And as Stalin was saying, I mean, if this is a diversion attempt, I think the DMK is helping it.
Mr. Upadhyay, you're speaking to Eric Njoka right now, and the live visuals you see on your screen are of the release of Udayanidhi from prison. How long do you think this rivalry will last between DMK and TVK? Because it's only been a few months since TVK was appointed.
I think it's a very scary situation, because if this is the kind of political discourse they're getting into, and this is the kind of rivalry they will enter, I mean, they'll be inciting their cadres and the public at large, which is not good for the state, not good for the development of the state. There has to be some kind of a sanity that has to come back, because otherwise, Tamil Nadu will become ungovernable, which is not in the interest of anybody in the state.
Mr. Upadhyay, we'll just try to play up those visuals. Those are live visuals that are coming in. Let's quickly have a look at those. Look at the fanfare with which Udayanidhi Stalin is being received. He wasn't remanded. He was just kept for questioning as per the court's orders. We'll have the audio for you as well. All right. So, those are the visuals that are coming in. We'll play them up. And yeah, I think we can hear them now. And when you look at these visuals and seeing the way he's making his way back from prison, he's getting that kind of a response. You can hear it now. The ambient sounds are there. What do you make of the kind of response that the DMK still holds across Tamil Nadu, even though they've lost?
Well, DMK continues to be a strong party, which has ruled for over 40 years in Tamil Nadu. And they have at times given good governance, especially when Karunanidhi was the chief minister for the longest time. And also, AIDMK, which is now, turned out to be a third party. And when Jayalalitha was heading it, she's also tried to give a good government. I think the focus should go back to giving government. DMK should realize that it has lost this election, but it has to wait with patience. Because that is what democracy is all about. And you can't bulldoze people into supporting one way or the other. Right now it is Vijay, and we have to see how he performs. So they need to give him time, and then we take up the issues publicly in a sane manner, not like this. This is bizarre. They have put out videos of Karunanidhi being questioned in his home, and then when he says that the justice shall prevail and all that. So that's true. This has been a very volatile kind of a politics in Tamil Nadu. And how about the DMK? The way they treated Jayalalitha on the floor of the assembly. She was manhandled by these people. And then, she had to walk out of the assembly, and she swore that she will never come back to the assembly unless she becomes chief minister. And she came back only after she became the chief minister. So this is the kind of rivalry that is there in Tamil Nadu, but it is not healthy politics. I mean, this seems to be spreading across the country. And we've also seen, what happened at Jantar Mantar in Delhi. I mean, when the cockroach parties, started this agitation against the government, and the kind of vulgar language that was used against the prime minister. I mean, that is also not pardonable. But whereas, this Congress party and the DMK did support them. In fact, DMK's, MP, Mr. Karthi Chidambaram, went on to say, "Oh, this is all a matter of humor. And, the Prime Minister should be able to take some humor." I mean, that's not humor when you attack him and his late mother.
All right, Mr. Upadhyay, thanks so much for making time for us right here on Race to Power. There will be more to discuss as the budget session is now scheduled to start. We will be tracking those developments coming in from Tamil Nadu. R.K. Upadhyay, always a pleasure.
Thank you.
A major healthcare disruption has hit Maharashtra with over 2 lakh allopathic doctors observing a 24-hour strike against the state government's proposal to grant Maharashtra Medical Council registration to CCMP qualified BHMS practitioners.
Well, as OPD services remain affected across the state, the Maharashtra government is now set to hold a crucial meeting to break this deadlock. WION's principal correspondent Disha Yadav gets us this ground report.
A policy decision aimed at expanding healthcare access has triggered one of Maharashtra's biggest medical protests in recent years. More than 2 lakh allopathic doctors have joined a 24-hour statewide strike, protesting the state's proposal to grant Maharashtra Medical Council registration to CCMP qualified BHMS practitioners. The strike has been called by the Indian Medical Association of Maharashtra with support from other medical groups and doctors from government, civic and private hospitals. Doctors insist they are not protesting against homeopathy, but against what they call crosspathy, which allows practitioners trained in one system of medicine to practice another through a bridge course. They argue that granting MMC registration to CCMP qualified BHMS practitioners would dilute medical education standards, weaken the integrity of medical regulation, and pose risks to patient safety.
We are getting the degree after 5.5 years of course. Now government is planning to give the same degree through the CCMP degree holder. So the BHMS, the homeopathy doctors, they will do a 1 year of bridge course. It's a certificate course on modern medicine. Okay, so that is a 1 year of course. After that, they are getting the MMC registration, which is equivalent to our registration, our degree. So that training is not equivalent, right? It is a 5.5 year of course, and this is a 1 year of course. So the course is not equivalent, training is not equivalent, but the degree is equivalent.
The dispute centers on practitioners holding a BHMS degree who have also completed the certificate course in modern pharmacology. The Maharashtra government is considering granting them registration under the state's medical council. Allopathic doctors argue that the government should wait until the Bombay High Court delivers its final verdict before implementing any such move.
When we was in MBBS curriculum, we get taught that how the drug act. Like there's a mechanism of action, adverse drug reaction, how they go in your body, how they react and how they act. But they don't know. They are from their own practice. So thing was ki if anything happened, who will be responsible for that? The patient who will know the exact cause. We have no exact definition, exact thing. So we will go for that na. So you practice. We respect all medical fraternities, but you stay in your own division now.
Starting August 5th, resident doctors across several hospitals will be suspending routine OPD services only in Mumbai until their demands are met. Amid the escalating protest, the Maharashtra government is expected to hold a crucial meeting with senior officials and stakeholders to discuss the controversy and explore a possible resolution. The outcome of the meeting could determine whether the proposed registration process moves forward or whether the government pauses the decision with legal proceedings still in continuation.
These protesting doctors, they say that the major reason for them is that 1 year, of course, cannot be equated to a 5 or a 6 year MBBS degree. They also say that this might also put patients into a risk zone if all the homeopathy doctors do end up giving wrong medicine for the treatment which is needed. So now, to bring a deadlock to this entire situation, Maharashtra government is planning to hold a crucial meeting between the representatives of both the homeopathy as well as allopathy doctors in a day or two. With video journalist Mangesh, this is Disha reporting here for WION from Mumbai.
And time now for a focus on Asia. Japan has unveiled its latest defense white paper, and it sends a strong message to both its citizens and its neighbors.
Well, Tokyo is presenting its biggest military buildup since World War II, not just as a security necessity, but as a path to future prosperity. The document also underscores how relations with China have entered a far more confrontational phase.
Japan is changing the way it talks about military power. Its new defense white paper argues that defense spending is not only about protecting the country, but also about supporting economic growth, technology innovation, startups, and industrial development. The shift is strikingly symbolized by the report's anime-style glossy cover, which features a smiling family in a futuristic cityscape instead of soldiers and weapons.
Well, Defense Minister Shinjiro Koizumi says that the goal is to help the public understand how security is linked to the future of every citizen. But behind the softer imagery lies a much tougher strategic message.
Well, the nearly 600-page document identifies China as Japan's greatest strategic challenge, citing Beijing's expanding military activities around Japan, the Western Pacific, and the Taiwan Straits. Tokyo says Chinese aircraft carriers have operated deep in the Western Pacific. Chinese warplanes have repeatedly approached Japanese aircraft.
Well, the paper also highlights growing concern over China's intensified military activities around Taiwan, including the possibility of grey zone operations, such as a blockade involving Chinese Coast Guard vessels.
That language comes after Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi angered Beijing by saying Japan could deploy its self-defense forces if a Chinese attack or blockade of Taiwan threatened Japan's survival. China condemned those remarks as egregious, and relations between Tokyo and Beijing have remained in a deep freeze.
Well, at the same time, Japan is rapidly expanding its military capabilities. Defense-related spending has now reportedly reached 2% of the GDP, with much of the money going towards long-range missiles capable of striking targets inspired by lessons from the war in Ukraine.
Tokyo insists it remains committed to an exclusively defense-oriented policy and continues to uphold its long-standing 3 non-nuclear principles. Yet Koizumi has also suggested the debate over Japan's nuclear posture is something the country cannot avoid.
And while the white paper speaks of deterrence and future prosperity, its clearest signal is unmistakable that Tokyo now sees a more assertive China not as a distant concern, but as the central challenge shaping Japan's security, economy, and foreign policy. Bangladesh has formally raised concerns with India over former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina's planned public address from India.
The issue surfaced during a meeting between India's new High Commissioner to Dhaka, Dinesh Trivedi, and Bangladesh Prime Minister's advisor on foreign affairs, Humayun Kabir. Ties between New Delhi and Dhaka have entered another sensitive phase. Expressing concern, Bangladesh says that it expects cooperation from New Delhi to ensure Indian territory is not used for activities that could create instability inside Bangladesh.
Well, the matter was raised during a courtesy call by India's newly appointed High Commissioner to Dhaka, Dinesh Trivedi, on Bangladesh Prime Minister's advisor on foreign affairs, Humayun Kabir, at the Prime Minister's office in Tejgaon. India's External Affairs Ministry has now clarified that the government has no role in Hasina's proposed virtual address, saying that it is a private media entity's event.
Interaction that you are referring to is being organized by a private media entity. The government has no involvement whatsoever in it. Neither does it endorse any views that may be expressed at the forum.
Now, according to Bangladesh's foreign ministry, Dhaka was concerned that Sheikh Hasina could use Indian territory to deliver political speeches or carry out activities aimed at influencing Bangladesh's internal situation. Bangladesh also warned that such actions could affect the positive progress in bilateral relations. Hasina, who fled Bangladesh after her government was ousted in August 2024, is scheduled to address an event on August 5th at the Foreign Correspondents Club in India. Dhaka considers her a fugitive and has previously urged India not to allow political activities by her from the Indian soil. The Bangladeshi statement said the Indian envoy assured that he would duly consider the matter and make necessary inquiries. Despite the concern, both sides emphasize the importance of regular dialogue, constructive engagement, and people-centric cooperation. India has continued to host Sheikh Hasina since her departure by repeatedly stating that it supports stability and the democratic process in Bangladesh.
And this is our race to power verdict for today. The West Asia war, started by the US on a timeline of 4 to 5 weeks, is now in its 6th month, as US heads towards its midterm elections in less than 3 months from now. The US president finds himself in a difficult political corner. With the high-stakes elections fast approaching, Washington's foreign policy is now deeply tied to domestic political survival. Nowhere is this more obvious than in the ongoing war with Iran. Trump has repeatedly swung between threats of a massive attack on Iran, only to call it off before the deadline. And this would be followed by an announcement of a halt in hopes of a deal. That's the trend. We saw this in April when Trump promised to obliterate Iran but backed off as he said that he was requested to do so by Pakistan. And just days ago, we saw it again. This time, Trump said that the massive attack was called off owing to a request by West Asian capitals and Iran. Well, the public opinion polls in US show widespread American dissatisfaction with this ongoing war, especially as gas prices surge in the US, well past the $4 a gallon mark. But seeing Iran deal with Trump's threats, it is clear that the Iranian leadership understands that a sitting US president cannot afford an open-ended, unpopular war and an economic shock right before voters head to the ballot box in America, less than 3 months from now. Tehran sees right through this timeline, and they're using it as a psychological and strategic edge over the White House. They are openly denying Trump's claims of direct peace talks. They are publicly calling out his statements, and they're using strategic patience to drag out this conflict. So while Trump needs a quick diplomatic win or at least a stable domestic energy market, Tehran is using Washington's domestic vulnerability as leverage. While US resorts to direct force and bluffs, much like checkers, Iran applies long-term strategic positioning with patience, much like chess, regardless of the damage that they've taken so far.
All right, it's a wrap on this edition of Race to Power on WION The World is One. Thank you very much for watching. I'm Eric Njoka.
I'm Shiban Channa. Lots more on the other side. Stay with us.
In-depth coverage of global issues broken down into facts, figures, and simple words. Backed with analysis from field experts who truly matter, because we believe in decoding the real picture for you. So you get a much wider and deeper understanding of stories from around the world, a 360-degree analysis. An award-winning documentary series, week after week, creating the maximum impact. Watch WION Wide Angle at these times on WION. World is One.
The Israeli drone is above our heads all the time in Lebanon. More than 200,000 civilian homes have been destroyed. This looks like it used to be a toy for a little girl. Can't but wonder, well, I'm walking between all of this rubble? How many lives were destroyed? How many kids were traumatized? How many women lost their families? If this isn't a war crime, then what is? From the southern suburb of Beirut, I'm Radi Francis for WION The World is One.
Get the latest updates. Breaking news. Credible, clear, continuous. Experts across aisles. Diverse voices, one platform. WION World is One.
In this rapidly changing world, is your health keeping pace? Best practices and breakthroughs busting the hype with real insights. The timeless power of yoga and ancient healing. Good food, good mood. Small steps, big impact. Your health matters. Only on WION World is One. Because nothing matters more.
WION, India's global voice. The channel that brings you the biggest stories from across the world through India's lens. Now available in more than 190 countries worldwide. Because we believe that the world is one. Watch us in Africa, Europe, USA and Canada, South America, Asia Pacific, Middle East and North African regions. Also available on these digital platforms across the world. WION. World is One.
Know more? Understand better? Think ahead. Hello and a very warm welcome. You are watching Gravitas with me, Molly Gambhir. Get the facts, not the bombast. On the 26th of March, dynamic pricing, Baloch separatists, Gravitas cuts out the clutter. Gravitas keeps calm when others scream. Gravitas brings news to life. Weekdays, 9 p.m. IST, 3:30 p.m. GMT. Gravitas. Seeing is believing.
From the bustling trading floors of Wall Street to the vibrant exchanges of Asian stock markets, WION breaks it down for you to make sense of what's happening. As we reveal the key factors behind events, strategic battles, and the game-changing business decisions that shape the world. We bring you all of this and more on World Business Watch. In-depth coverage of global issues broken down into facts, figures, and simple words. Backed with analysis from field experts who truly matter, because we believe in decoding the real picture for you. So you get a much wider and deeper understanding of stories from around the world, a 360-degree analysis. An award-winning documentary series, week after week creating the maximum impact. Watch WION Wide Angle at these times on WION. World is One.
This is WION. World is One. This is your prime time. And you are watching Gravitas.
Hello and a very warm welcome. You are watching Gravitas. I'm Molly Kampir. Let's get started. How afraid is Donald Trump of the US voters right now amid the Iran tensions? Is the fear of the American voters driving the US president to despair? Trump says it is Iran's last chance to strike a deal before decapitation. But in reality, behind those warnings, grand statements and rhetoric, both time and Americans' patience is running out and the clock is ticking for Donald Trump. We are decoding that in just a bit. Also on the show for you tonight, a Gravitas special report. Mark this date on your calendar, August 12. There is a lot of chatter online, you must have come across it, about the doomsday warnings. It's going to be a day of 3 spectacular cosmic events, but some people see this as an ominous warning. We tell you more. A fresh wave of strikes sweeping across the battlefield as both Russia and Ukraine trade attacks, marking yet another deadly escalation in the war. From South India, we focus on that huge row over remarks on Trisha, with Vijay's TVK also now complaining to the NCW. A Gravitas special report on the Valley to Team India Kashmir cricket boom that's gathering pace.